Hello and welcome back to Boring Dad Gaming, where today we're going to be playing some more Rosewater. We're going to head out, and I think we can sort of charter this ship to go out to the lighthouse that we want to get out to, where Carter is doing something. But we did get this this card thing, wooden card thing from the safe, so we haven't really looked at it yet. I just kind of want to see.
Strange wooden card lined with metal. It's got some holes on one side.
Kind of like a old-fashioned computer punch card, maybe, but like made out of wood. Anyway, let's go do this thing.
Good evening.
Evening to you.
How much to go to Gannett Island?
Oh, hell. There's no amount of money could get me to set foot on that island.
Why not?
It's cursed. Haunted by demonic spirits.
Come on, really?
I've seen them with my own eyes. Horrid specters floating around the place, ready to kill anyone who gets too close. When they're out dancing in the sky at night, you can feel their evil influence in the air.
It's going to be Clark, isn't it, with his Aethericity collector thing?
You know it's good for you. You'll get any idea going out there out of your head.
Look, we really need to get to that island.
Good luck to you, then. Nobody in their right mind will take you there.
You said no amount of money could get you to set foot on the island. What if you just dropped us off?
You're dead set on going, aren't you?
I thought I'd made that clear.
All right. If you have such a disregard for your life, there's nothing I can do about it. But I won't take you there for any less than 60 crowns.
Deal, we got
You
loads.
drive a hard bargain, but we're not giving up. Here's the money.
All right. But the minute I drop you off,
I
I'm
wonder if it's
gone.
possible to,
How are we
to have
supposed
wasted
to
your
get
money
back?
to
I'll
such
come
an
back
extent
for
that you can't afford it.
Dawn.
I wonder what you do if
Killed you before then,
that's the
that is.
case.
We'll take our chances. Let's go. Owing to the island's reputation as the accursed haunt of assorted malignant spooks and spirits, it has cost us a comely copper to induce one of the credulous locals to transport us here. I do have to admit that this place presents a rather eerie aspect. It's easy enough to imagine ghosts drifting along the ramparts of the ruined fort, or floating among the after images of the lighthouse beam. But there's only one ghost I'm interested in finding here.
Remember, I'll be back at sunrise. Then I'm heading home, whether you're on my boat or not.
There she goes.
Que mareo. I am glad to be back on solid ground.
Look, there's smoke coming from the chimney of that cabin.
I guess this island isn't all that abandoned.
Oh, we know
Stay
Clark's
alert.
here. Alright, so I assume that, yeah, it's going to be Marquez, isn't it? Well, let's try this hut.
Hello? Anyone home? No one here. We can do some prowling. What a peculiar decoration. If this is lit, it means someone's been here recently.
But where are they now?
Oh, hello. Okay.
It's got a dragon on it, but no indication of what tea is inside.
Suggest this is probably to do with a puzzle.
A box of chamomile tea. By Ji Guan. Some kind of Chinese tea, I guess. Oolong. I think I've had this stuff before. This one's not labeled.
Okay, well, this is probably to do with a puzzle, so let's just leave that for now till we have an idea of what we want to accomplish with it.
Feel like I could lie down and sleep for weeks. Maybe I will when we're through. It's getting late. I hope we can make that dawn rendezvous. All things considered, I could be looking a lot worse. A plain-looking cupboard, but the good stuff's always on the inside. Locked, because of course it is.
Maybe we can pick the lock?
Damn, this lock is way more complex than it looks. I won't be able to pick it. It's keeping this place nice and warm. A spare lantern.
Okay, what is this?
How rustic.
I mean, nothing that jumps out. Let's still leave the teas for now because I'm sure it's going to be to do with a specific puzzle.
Someone must keep this lighthouse running. Bet this fort was impressive in its day. It's a crumbling ruin now.
Got to the fort, I guess. Oh, hello.
Shh. Not another step. There's a guard. Stay quiet.
He's drinking a hot beverage, which suggests maybe he'd like a nice cup of tea.
Odd device. Looks like it's meant to be spoken into. Looks like we found the island's inhabitant. What exactly is he guarding? The guard keeps drinking from this cup. Massive doors. Do they lead underground?
Can we get over there?
Stay here. I'm going to see what's through that door over there.
Imagine we've got to put something in his tea that might make him fall asleep or something? I don't know. Might be some clues.
This place is falling apart. I'm surprised this thing is still intact. There's a lot of broken glass in here. What's this? One container hasn't been broken. I might be able to use it.
Okay, so it's just an empty beaker. Okay.
A nice mountainside landscape. Cheery. There's a metal drain in the floor. Nothing, just some muck.
Hey, my greasy rag's gone. Well.
I think a bed of hot coals would be comfier. Just a dirty old sheet, and I see no reason to get any closer.
Alright, well. Glass could be used to carry some liquid, maybe. Let's not talk, because it might be overheard. Let's go and do the tea thing. I mean, I don't know quite what she's after, but like, can I use that with the? Okay, come back. Let's look at these. So we got a couple of there's the Chinese-looking one.
It's got a dragon on it, but no indication of what tea is inside.
Chamomile is relaxing. These are just, well, oolong is just a type of tea. We don't know what the unlabeled one is, though. What if I was to pick up this
Feels
one?
mostly full.
Okay.
Feels nearly full. Nearly empty. Running pretty low. Hey, there's something rattling around in here. A small silver key.
Oh,
I'll just
that's
hang
probably for
on
the
to
cupboard.
it.
Okay, well, let's come out of here first, then. Let's see what's in here.
Here we are. It's empty, except for a couple of bullets. I'll take those.
Could make a distraction.
Best not to burn that.
Yeah. It didn't seem like she was going to take the tea, did it? Unless I can use it with...
Feels mostly full. Feels nearly empty. Running pretty low. Bai Ji Guan. Some kind of Chinese tea, I guess.
Yeah, I don't know. Maybe it was just to find the key. So we got some bullets.
Just some standard revolver bullets.
Yeah, maybe make a gun out of that banana. Right, let's go back up, I guess.
Not now.
Yeah, that's what I thought. Okay, what else have we got here?
Quite an elaborate contraption. Quite an elaborate... I have a feeling pulling that lever will make something important happen. The guard keeps... Not putting that in his...
Banana in your drink? We could...
I don't want to risk drawing...
Yeah.
Not putting... Not putting... Looks like we found the island.
Alright, let's come out of here and we'll talk to the guys. See if there's anything that might result from that conversation.
Hey, Phil? Got any ideas for getting rid of that guard?
Yes, it is perhaps a gamble, but I think I might have a plan. This island is rumored to be haunted, no? The atmosphere is certainly eerie enough. I believe that with a little pageantry, we might convince the guard the rumors are true. I will need a couple of props.
Such as?
Some kind of light source and something I can cover myself with.
I think I know both things.
Hey, Danny?
Yes, Harley.
Any ideas for getting us past that guard?
Actually, yes. He doesn't look too tough. I could probably scare him off with a little gunplay. Only trouble is, I'm out of bullets.
Actually, I've already got some.
Great. Shall we go ahead with the plan?
Okay. So a couple of options, but I think I might go with Phil's
No.
one.
Let's see if I can think of something else.
Okay, let me know if you...
So I think we'll get the dirty old blanket off the bed. And we'll get the lamp from the cabin. I'll not just pick it up.
Just a dirty old... This could be...
Yeah, exactly.
Ugh.
Right, let's go get that spare lamp from the cabin. I think that make... I mean, shooting off a gun, I mean, we don't know if this is the only guard, right? Or, you know, or what he's guarding, or who he's guarding, might be alerted to our presence if we start shooting our guns off. So, let's... I mean, I imagine probably the spare lantern.
This will work.
I'm not sticking this lantern in a hot...
If it's not this, I might just give the bullets to Danny.
There.
Oh, okay.
Here, will this do?
This will be perfect.
Here, can you use this?
I would have preferred it to be less soiled, but I will make do. Perfecto. This is everything I need. Are you ready?
Yeah, let's do this. Let's do this plan.
All right, let's go for it.
Very good.
I like that the
Need some
game
help
gives you a
from
couple of
too.
choices
Come,
of how to
I will
proceed in
explain.
a lot of cases.
All right, help me put this together.
Huh? What's that?
What mortal foot treads upon this cursed ground? Your bones will mix with the dust of our bones. Flee, or join us in the dance of eternal torment.
Jump at Jehoshaphat! I don't get paid enough for this.
It's a good thing it didn't run towards Danny.
Chilling stuff, Phil. Wow.
What can I say? I felt inspired. Perhaps some of Jake's showmanship has rubbed off, eh?
Now to get those doors open. Somehow.
Okay, well, his cup's no longer interactable. I guess we don't need that.
I have a feeling pulling that lever will make something.
Quite, so let's pull it.
Nothing happened. Quite an elaborate contraption. It's a small slot.
Oh, like this.
It fits.
Let's try that again.
Santa Maria!
Wow. That's something.
You're telling me.
Let's get in.
Better take this card back. Don't want to be stuck down there. All right, folks. I think this is it. Wherever this takes us, I have a feeling Dr. Clark will be there.
The real question is, will we be able to return here once we've found him?
I sure hope so.
Maybe one of us should stay up here, just in case.
There's no telling what we'll find down there. We should all stick together.
Okay, let's go then.
What in the ether is this place?
Caramba! Oh, we had better not be trapped down here.
Damn, I knew one of us should have stayed up there.
So now we're looking for two things. Clark and the exit.
What? We weren't expecting, who are you?
We're here to see Dr. Clark. Are you him?
Me? Don't I wish? I'm just one of his assistants.
I see. Could you take us to him?
Hang on. You still haven't said why you're here.
We've come on General Laporte's orders.
Oh, well, why didn't you say so? Right, come with me.
Bluff our way inside.
Goodness, this place is really something.
I'm glad you think so.
What's that big glowing thing down there?
That's our etheric generator. Powers most everything down here. You get used to the noise. Follow me, please. I'll just be a moment.
Do you think he suspects anything?
I think we're okay so far. Just follow my lead.
Dr. Clark, I presume.
Suppose General Laporte's curiosity was too much for him to bear. I told him he could come for a demonstration next week. Instead, he sends 3 proxies. I will never understand that man's rationale. But you're here now, so you may as well see what we've got. I'm Dr. Bennett Clark, by the way. And you are?
I'm Miss Leger. This is Mr. Marquez and Mr. Luo. We are General Laporte's press corps, here to learn about your research.
The General wants to inform the press now? Already? After everything we've gone through to keep it quiet. I swear the man changes his mind more often than most change their breeches. All right, let's go have a look at Project Rosewater. I'm afraid the testing chamber only accommodates 4. One of you will have to stay out here with Joshua, but you may observe the test through the window. As I said, we weren't expecting anyone until next week. The prototype still needs refinement. Nevertheless, we have made a breakthrough.
Prototype of what, exactly?
You mean the General didn't tell you? Why am I not surprised? There on the tripod, the etheric pistol. The whole purpose and object of Project Rosewater. Juliet, is the prototype ready for demonstration?
I believe so, Doctor. But who are we demonstrating it for?
Miss Leger and her companions, the team sent by General Laporte. Now, please, do us the honors.
Yes, Doctor.
Santo cielo.
Whoa.
Whoa.
Exactly.
We have managed to confine the chaotic etheric discharge to a very narrow, focused beam over a distance of up to 6 meters, without significant dissipation or redirection of energy, reaching nearly 68.2% efficiency. This results in complete vaporization of most organic targets, with only minimal atmospheric disturbances in the immediate vicinity. You might be feeling warmth, or a slight tingling sensation on your skin,
I mean,
and
a
a
goddamn
change
disintegration
of pressure
rate.
in your ears, perfectly harmless. Oh, and if you are experiencing any alteration to your color vision, I assure you that is also completely temporary.
Híjole. Can you smell that music?
There are sometimes minor synesthetic side effects. That too will pass, of course. There is plenty of room for improvement in range, energy efficiency, fine-tuning of the beam's intensity and area of effect, user-friendliness and safety. But, as proof of concept, this irrefutably demonstrates that the principle is sound, and that it can be scaled up. The rest is iteration.
Well, thank you for that thorough explanation.
Now I'm afraid you must excuse me. I have some time-sensitive tasks I must attend to. If only I'd been forewarned of your arrival, I might have made arrangements. In any event, if you have questions, I or my assistants can answer them. Just be mindful not to touch anything.
All right, well, let's start by examining things, I guess. He said not to touch
Who knows
anything.
what they keep in there?
So we'll just look at things for now until he...
It appears to be a charging device. There's a small round socket at the top. It's displaying all sorts of numbers and readings I can't begin to comprehend. Flashing lights and other displays. I can't tell if it means something or is just meant to look pretty. So this is Project Rosewater. Looks like some demented puzzle box. The lab assistant's desk. She's written some notes, but I have no idea what they mean.
We could try talking with Clark.
Dr. Clark?
Yes, what is it?
Just how long have you been down in this facility?
8 months. We've made extraordinary progress, as you can see. I admit, I had some misgivings when I first learned what would be required of us, but it turns out the isolation has done wonders for our productivity.
So who built this whole underground complex anyway? I'm guessing it wasn't always a secret ethericity lab.
I'm not entirely sure. Apart from the additional equipment I specified, everything was already prepared for us when I arrived in El Presidio. General Laporte isn't exactly forthcoming with information he considers irrelevant.
Do you know much about General Laporte?
Not a great deal, no. I only met him when he summoned me to El Presidio. We speak occasionally, but only about professional matters. Just as well, I suppose. His interests don't align particularly well with mine.
So your relationship is purely professional?
It's an acquaintanceship at best.
Just how did you come to discover the existence of ethericity?
Now that's a story. When I was a boy, I read about the ancient Greeks and their studies of the heavens. Certain texts made obscure references to observations of energy subsisting in the atmosphere. Something entirely different from electricity. The idea seized my imagination and sparked my passion for the pursuit of ethericity. I developed an instrument that I called the aetherometer. in order to probe the atmospheric potential. Imagine my delight when I discovered that aethericity was in fact real. Unfortunately, the aetherometer has been appropriated by so-called spiritualists who believe they can use it to talk with the dead.
I'd like to know your perspective on the Lamplight City Expo incident.
That was a dark day. Everything I worked for came crashing down in a matter of seconds. Being maligned and ostracized was bad enough, but I can still hear the screams of those 15 poor souls. If anything good can be said to have come from that horrible event, it taught me that nothing in this life is guaranteed.
Really an answer.
What inspired you to become a scientist?
Trite as it may sound, I wanted to make the world better. I had a fortunate birth. My parents were able to pay for my studies in Paris, which is where I earned my doctorate in physics. But even as a boy, I still saw plenty of terrible things going on around me. Others seemed not to see, but I did. Upon my return to Vespuccia, I began teaching and conducting independent research. My only explicit goal was to make some sort of discovery or development that would serve the advancement of mankind. I would like to believe I've achieved that.
Why did you agree to work on this project?
Why? I just experienced the worst disaster of my life. My work was first ridiculed and then outlawed, and I was exiled to a barren wasteland. The only prospect I could see was to leave the country and start everything over. But then I received General Laporte's offer. I could continue my work in safety and solitude. Everything I needed would be provided. No investors, no reporters, no loonies, no distractions. I'm certain anyone in my position would have jumped at the opportunity.
Who came up with Project Rosewater?
My understanding is that this work is for the benefit of the Vespuccian army. General Laporte is in charge of the project. Everything goes through him. Other than the facility guards, I've had contact with no one else.
How much longer until Project Rosewater is finished?
We're nearing the end of this phase. If all goes well, we should have a stable, fully functioning prototype by the end of the year.
What exactly is the goal of this project?
Well, once the etheric pistol is complete, we'll begin experimenting with larger caliber weapons.
Etheric rifles?
Yes, and whatever else the General sees fit to pursue.
Where does it stop?
You'd have to ask him that question.
It's interesting he's seemingly fine with it being used for weapons research. I would have thought as a scientist with a nobler calling, he might not be in favor of that, but he seems fine with it, doesn't he?
How did this project get the name Rosewater?
My idea, sentimental really. I suppose I had gotten attached to my dry and dusty little desert lab. After all, Rosewater was my refuge when I lost everything else. I just made an offhand comment to that effect one day while discussing arrangements with the General. And he said, well, in that case, why don't you bring Rosewater with you? When I found out he made that the official title of the project, it made me smile, I'll admit.
I'll let you get back to it.
Thank you.
I want to talk to the assistant when they come in. They'll only be a moment.
Looks like some demented puzzle box.
Those are my inventory. We don't have a lot of useful stuff at the moment. Not quite sure what to do with the banana I picked up.
Pardon me.
Sorry, can't talk right now. If you've got any questions, ask Dr. Clark.
Oh. Alright, let's have a quick chat with Phil and then we'll see if we can leave this room.
Hey, Phil? Would you look at this place? It's incredible.
When we entered Clark's lab in the desert, I considered it an abomination. But now, I cannot find the words to describe this accursed place. The sooner we find a way back to the surface, the better.
I don't
Go
think
through
I'm
here?
allowed in there.
Yeah, fair enough. Okay, well let's leave.
That was really something.
So Laporte's got Clark developing etheric weapons for the military. This throws a wrench in Shaw's plans.
Ah, despicable. Typical military. Working in secret to secure for itself awesome powers of death and destruction, without the knowledge or consent of the people. Perhaps Dr. Clark will be willing to abandon this project and turn his ambitions to something less wicked.
Perhaps. But I can't just ask him with his assistant right there. Maybe I can get her to leave the testing chamber so I can have a moment alone with Clark.
Okay, that's something to aim for. Let's have a quick chat with Danny, maybe?
Hey, Danny?
Yes, Harley.
How do you suppose they managed to build a place like this under an island?
Don't know, but whoever did it must be real serious about Dr. Clark's research.
A couple of wires from that food heating device.
They made a toaster.
Some kind of little oven for heating food, I think. This thing is in dire need of repairs.
Aerial wires. We could talk to this assistant, maybe.
Hey, can we talk?
Sure. What's on your mind?
Have you been down here long?
Oh, about 7 months, I think. Without any sunlight, you really lose all sense of time. Sometimes it feels like decades.
No sunlight? You mean you never go outside?
No, of course not. Is this some kind of test? The terms were made very clear when we signed on to this project. We don't break protocol. I do really miss the sun, though. Sometimes I feel like a mushroom down here.
How did you become interested in etheric research?
I was already a researcher when I met Dr. Clark, but my field was chemistry. I had dabbled some with etheric experiments after hearing about Clark's research. When I saw him at the Lamplight City Expo, I knew I wanted to work with him, despite what happened. After the dust settled, I approached him about taking me on as an assistant. I got the feeling he was just surprised to still have any support.
Don't you ever get bored here?
Sure, all the time. We've got books, but I've read them all. This is my 3rd time through this one. At least this phase of the project's near completion. Maybe we'll get some time up top before the next one.
Never would have dreamed there was a whole secret facility hidden under this rock in the middle of the bay. Who built it anyway?
The military, I guess. Had to be someone with very deep pockets. Everything was already in place before they moved us in.
Probably what the gold was for to pay for all this stuff.
What are your thoughts on Project Rosewater?
Honestly, I try not to think about it too much. We're doing important scientific research. I can't deny that. Just because our focus is on weapons doesn't mean our results can't be used for other applications.
How do you like working with Dr. Clark?
It has its moments, but I'd be lying if I said it wasn't stressful. He gets wound up sometimes, which I understand. But other times he picks strange things to get cross about.
Like what?
Well, his biggest bugbear is food in the testing chamber. I made the mistake of taking my lunch in there once, and he just about had a conniption. Cleanliness is one thing, but this is a whole other level.
Okay, so food in the test
Clark
chamber.
dislikes food in the testing chamber, does he?
Dislikes? More like detests.
Maybe this is where the banana comes in.
Know anything about General Laporte?
I saw him once, right at the start of the project. Didn't talk to him. He seemed kind of intense. He's the one running the show, as far as I can tell. Beyond that, the man's a total mystery.
Okay, see you around.
Bye.
Alright, let's continue having a look around. What's over here?
Bars of Aurum.
Oh, that's
Lots
the
of
gold
things.
bars. When I call them gold, I'm assuming Aurum is kind of what gold is called in this universe, because it kind of
An
looks like
etheric
it.
generator. It's big and loud.
And the chemical symbol for gold is AU.
There's a
isn't it?
card slot next to the door. Seems to be locked.
Ooh, I wonder if our card gets us in here.
It doesn't fit.
Could be the assistant's room, and there's 2 bunks, isn't there? What have we got?
The box is full of odds and ends. Some sewing and personal grooming supplies. A set of encyclopedias. The only indication of time down here. You could almost think you were in some nice hotel and forget you were in a secret, illegal underground laboratory beneath a ruined fort on a cursed, haunted island.
It's one way of putting it.
Just some clothes and a couple of storage boxes.
Okay, what's in the
Just some
boxes?
clothes. Just some.
Yep. Alright, so you don't want to look any closer at that stuff, fine.
The lab assistants share a room? Not sure if that's progressive or scandalous.
Okay, unless I'm missing anything, that seems to be about it for here. At least for the time being.
An etheric generator. It's big and loud.
So we've got all the stuff up here. I don't know if is she going to go up the stairs? Okay, she is going to go
Looks
up
like
the
a
stairs.
more complex version of the console back in Clark's desert lab. Controls, gauges, and dials. Who knows what they're for? These tomatoes are thriving. Must be all the exposure to ethericity. Some kind of this.
Yeah, have I still got my repair kit? No. I could try using the wires with it. No. Talk to the lads again now that we've had a little look round and we've got a maybe
Can't
the
think
start
of
of the
anything.
plan. Okay, never mind. I'm wondering, what about if we give the banana to the assistant? Do you think he might chase
She's
her
busy.
chase her out the lab?
I don't think I don't think. Clark will see me.
Okay. She didn't say no. If we need to distract him somehow, like to look the other way.
Hey, Phil? Think you might occupy Dr. Clark's attention for a few minutes?
Of course. I can be very engaging after all. Dr. Clark, may I have a moment?
Yes, what is it?
Okay, so when the assistant goes back into the test room, I'll put the banana on her table. I mean, probably that means Clark will freak out and just... Oh. Oh, Phil. Right, let's do it now.
Hey, Phil. Think you might
Dr. Clark?
I may have gone too soon. I guess we'll see. Maybe you start it when she's at her table. Oh, God. Right, yeah. Okay, we'll do it. We'll do it again when she's at her table. I'll pause. All right, let's initiate this now.
Hey, Phil. Think you might
Dr. Clark?
Let's get over there. Plant the banana.
there. Now to watch the fireworks.
Hey.
What? Miss Montgomery, what is the meaning of this? How many times have I said, no food in the testing chamber?
But I
don't want excuses. Clear it out. Put away the power sail. We're done with testing today.
Yes, Dr. Clark.
I apologize for that, Miss Leger, but I'm very particular about rules.
Hey, nothing wrong with that.
Now, do we get in there and take one of those things?
Not while Clark's around. I don't think I'm allowed in there.
Okay, we need to get rid of Clark as well.
The lab assistant's desk.
Try talking to him.
Dr. Clark?
Yes, what is it?
Dr. Clark, there's something I need to tell you. We're not really from General Laporte's press corps.
What? Who are you then?
Some folks who are hired by D.W. Shaw to come find you.
The head of Vespuccia Petrol.
The very same.
What does she want with me?
She wants you to help her company pivot from oil to ethericity.
How does she intend to circumvent the ban?
She seems to think it'll be lifted soon. Or that she can influence things in that direction.
So she would have me work for VP to generate etheric energy for widespread use?
As an alternative power source, yes. It might even replace coal and oil someday.
Well, that's certainly more appealing than weaponry. But extreme arrangements have been made to develop this project in secret, and at considerable expense, I'm sure. It's not the sort of thing one can just walk away from.
Laporte doesn't have to know anything about this. We could fake your death somehow and get you away.
Miss Leger, let not be ridiculous.
So you're dead set on staying here? You won't consider Shaw's offer?
I admit it's enticing, but is it worth the risk?
I'm not so sure Laporte is acting in his capacity as a military general with the full backing and authority of the Vespuccian government here. We've seen plenty of things that don't add up. The clandestine nighttime shipments, the hired private agents, the hidden underground base, all the convoluted arrangements here, the fact that all this research is still technically illegal. I think this is all a sidekick. Some kind of secret conspiracy running on misappropriated funds. Don't you see? That means he doesn't have power over you. You could expose everything that's going on here. You'd have leverage over him.
I think that means he could send someone to murder me to
Yeah.
keep me quiet.
That is true.
Not lose a wink of sleep over it. That's not exactly convincing me to leave.
If it's Laporte you're afraid of, I'm sure Shaw can protect you.
Can she? The general is a powerful man. I'm not willing to risk getting on his bad side.
If nothing else, don't you want to get back into the world again?
Perhaps, but not badly enough to defy the Vespuccian military.
I'll let you get back to it.
Thank you.
Do we show him the journal, maybe?
I don't understand.
No. Maybe his own journal?
Ah, my old diary. I thought I'd lost it. Many thanks for returning it.
How about the coyote? Tell him its meaning.
I don't understand.
The newspaper we've been carrying around?
Please.
He doesn't want any reminders of that. I don't remember what this is, but let's show it to him.
I wondered why I never heard back from dear Roderick. Thank you for delivering this.
I usually get paid for delivering mail.
Ah, Laporte's invitation. That letter changed my life.
Achievement. Return all of Dr. Clark's belongings.
That's the elevator access card. Pity it only works on the console above ground. We have plenty.
You like some old wires?
I don't
Okay. Well, let's talk to Phil,
think
see if
of
he's got any
anything to
ideas. Okay, let's leave. Talk to Danny.
All right.
Yep.
Right. Okay.
I've got nothing to... Can we talk?
I suppose so.
Oh yeah, she wouldn't talk to me before, would she?
Just how long have you been working down here?
Good question. It's difficult keeping track of time. We're in September, right?
November, actually.
Oh, then it's been longer than I thought. We came down here in March.
What sparked your interest in etheric research?
I followed Dr. Clark's career from the early days. He was one of the first to begin advancing etheric theory with practical experiments. Not only that, He was getting results. After I graduated from university, I sent him my thesis on the effects of ethericity on plants and animals. I guess that made me one of the few practical researchers out there, too. He wrote back immediately with an offer of employment.
How do you keep from getting bored?
The work is pretty all-consuming, and we don't have much of a social scene down here. Dr. Clark is kind enough to lend us his books to pass the quiet hours.
Do you know who built this place?
I suppose this is an old army base, but Clark's had it fitted with some really state-of-the-art equipment. We're lucky to be so well-resourced.
I was blown away by that demonstration. Figuratively speaking, of course.
Huh. We've been working on it non-stop, but there are a lot of kinks to work out before it'll be field-ready. For instance, we still can't get more than one shot out of each power cell. I suppose in an actual battlefield situation, you'd need to carry around a lot of cells and reload for every shot, like cannonballs. But the power cells are still very difficult to construct, so we only have a few prototypes. We have to recharge them constantly.
How long does it normally take to charge one of the power cells?
Around 6 hours.
Wow.
Wow is right. Joshua hooked one up to the etheric generator and discovered that it charged instantly. But Dr. Clark wasn't happy about it.
Why not?
He said it made the power cell unstable. But we didn't have to wait all day for the next trial, and Joshua was even able to get 2 shots out of that one. The overcharge effect is certainly something we should investigate later.
Between you and me, doesn't it concern you that ethericity is being weaponized?
Not at all. It's a powerful energy source, and this is one of many practical applications.
Sure, but isn't it better to use it for less destructive purposes?
We live in a dangerous world, and these are uncertain times. Other nations probably have their own etheric weaponry development programs underway. If we didn't pursue this research, we'd be falling behind. A new weapon is most useful as a deterrent. Having it in your back pocket means everyone else thinks twice before firing on you. I know Dr. Clark's had some moral reservations about the military applications of ethericity, but he's a professional through and through.
So, what's working with Dr. Clark like?
He's a brilliant man. I learn something new from him every day.
He seems short-tempered.
Well, yes, but that's just the genius mind, isn't it? No room left over for navigating social niceties.
Can you tell me anything about General Laporte?
Not really. I know he's the one overseeing this project, but I've never had the opportunity to speak with him.
I appreciate the chat.
It's nice to have someone new to talk to.
So I feel like we're going to have to charge or make one of these power cells, and that beaker we've got might well be part of that, I suppose. Can I talk to this guy again?
I've got enough.
No. What about Phil?
Can't think of any.
Danny?
All right there, Danny?
Yep.
Okay. Can I charge fill the beaker with etheric energy?
I'd better not. Who knows if this thing is unstable?
Yeah. No.
Dr. Clark?
Yes, what is it?
You'd prefer your research be used to find new ways to kill people?
No, but
Look, I understand. You suffered a terrible setback after the expo. I'm sure it must have been hard. You probably felt like nobody would ever take you seriously again.
You have no idea.
I do know that if I were in your shoes, I'd have probably grabbed onto any lifeline. But I can tell your heart's not really in it, especially knowing what it is you're building.
Yes, well...
So you're gonna squander this opportunity to do some real good in the world because you're afraid of a stuffy old general?
You're right, Miss Leger. This isn't about me. This is about humanity. I'll come with you.
Yay!
But... oh goodness. How shall we... We need to do this discreetly. My assistants can't know what's going on. I'm going to my quarters to settle some things. Excuse me.
Damn. The Revolution could use someone with your persuasive skills.
Too bad my Spanish is lousy.
Okay, well let's grab one of these power cells then. I think we should go in that room and grab the pistol too.
Locked, naturally.
Oh, okay. Well, we got this, perhaps?
Got it. I'm sure they won't miss just one power cell. Or maybe they will. Either way, I've got one now.
Alright, let's go grab that pistol.
Let's hope nobody notices this is missing.
Alright, get out of here quickly. We could probably charge that power cell in the generator.
There's nowhere to plug the power cell in.
Maybe the wires?
The only thing I can load this seems like a good...
There we go. Now do the power cell.
Here we go. Hope this works.
Boom.
Wow. It charged up almost instantly.
Okay, so let's load the gun.
Locked and loaded.
Yeep. Okay, well, let's go into Clark's room now that that's open and talk to him in here, or see what he's got in here.
Ah, hello. I'm just leaving a note for my assistants.
Explaining why you're giving them the slip?
I feel I owe it to them.
Alright, well, I think we'll leave it there for this time. We're going to get into the escape next time, I'm sure. So I'll just take the opportunity to say thanks to those who don't want to listen to any journal entries for watching. Hope you've enjoyed it. If you have, please do hit the like button, leave a comment. But for those who would like to hang around, let's read a bit more of Harley's journal, shall we? So she's on her little outing with Nadine in the desert now. Nadine and I spent a good few hours gathering what sparse, dry firewood we could find among the scrub. I had thought to pass the time in conversation, but our paths soon diverged to cover more ground, and the search swelled to occupy our full attention, for we had to work for every combustible scrap we could lay eyes on. Thus absorbed, we separately trawled through the sand and gravel like treasure hunters, seeking gold and jewels. It must have been half my time was spent in pursuit of a rascally coyote who had snagged a prize piece for its personal chew toy. Not wishing to tangle with the creature, I rigged up a flaming brand to show it away, a solution more or less in accord with Nadine's decidedly gentle sensibilities. After we reunited to compare our yields, Nadine favoured me with a whittling demonstration and an old yarn about Coyote the Trickster, a figure of native legend. A coyote of her story was a boastful blowhard who imitates others, tricks them into doing his work, and shamelessly takes credit. A rather familiar feeling type, I thought. It sounds a bit like Jake. There it is, though. Nadine confessed she learned her tale from a book of indigenous lore, which she felt made it less valid or worthwhile somehow. In my experience, sometimes a book is the only available window for catching any glimpse outside of whatever little cell we're stuck in. A body should never feel bad for smooshing their mug up against that window, however narrow, foggy, or distorted, and gawping through it for all they are worth. As we shook the dust off, Nadine surprised me with the gift of the coyote carving she'd just whittled. I'll hang on to the tricksy little scamp for good luck. Friendly encounter on the road. Oh, this is the dog, Geggy. We made camp last night with a family of trappers we met on the road. I think that's supposed to... It says Fortunes there, but I think their name was actually Fortine, wasn't it? After successfully dissuading the trigger-happy paterfamilias from blasting me for a coach robber on sight, we parked our wagons up alongside and had ourselves what they call a potluck supper. For their part, the Fortines had some good cuts of salted venison that made a welcome embellishment to Danny's dried beans, and a spare sack of Captain Boylan's potatoes. Pa Fortine was a gruff sort, but a tipple of Phil's Barbadian rum loosened him up a touch. His wife and children proved more sociable. It seems they lived their whole lives on the road and in the wilderness, trekking back and forth between trapping up in the mountains and trading in Rosewater, where they're currently bound. I guess they must be pretty tight-knit, not seeing any other soul for weeks or months on end. One family member not so well integrated in this cosy unit was their newly acquired dog Geggy, still a puppy really, who seemed a source more of irritation and bother than of fond canine companionship. Now rechristened Lisa Lou, the latest addition to our posse has been ensconced firmly under Miss Johnson's wing. I swear she's favoured that pup's smiles and tender words, the likes of which I've not seen her bestow on any human. At least ways not on me. A diabolically affected postal depot. I have never comprehended the appeal of horror fiction, fantastic literature of the sort where seductive spirits lure young ladies to leap to their deaths from the tops of crumbling towers, or malevolent visitors from another planet capture rustic farmers to use as playthings and dress them up in silly costumes. From what I can tell, it's the favourite reading material of folks who don't have much occasion to shudder at anything they encounter outside of a book, so they contrive by literary means to give their nervous systems the odd jolt of terror that their comfortable lives do not otherwise furnish. Read too much of it and it puts strange ideas in your head. Today we met one such fellow, clearly too steeped in the stuff to tell fantasy from reality, a postal courier who fancied his humble transfer hut inhabited by the devil himself. In truth, the invader proved to be no more than an ordinary wildcat that got in through a window carelessly left open. Phil scared it off, but the scene was rendered more infernal when a fire broke out. Shivering Pines will need a new post office, but at least its resident devil's been exorcised. As for the postman, one can only hope he'll consider laying down the weird tales and take up a volume of sentimental literature or natural philosophy instead. A cluster of colourful tents and wagons. We have come upon the camp of a travelling theatre troupe, the Mid-Atlantic Players. Their impresario, a Miss Kate Hatomi, has been driven to vexation on account of the dimming dramaturgic prospects of her eclectic coterie, whose current production is in no fit state to perform. In an excess of fellow feeling for another entertainer, Jake has grandly volunteered our assistance, although what useful form that aid might take at this juncture is not presently clear. A memorable performance. We did what we could for Miss Hatomi and her folk, and while it's not exactly Moliere, it might just leave the crowds feeling like they got a little more clang for their copper. However things shake out on the stage, behind the scenes their bonds of fellowship have been reinvigorated, at the very least. It is obvious that Miss Hatomi has not gathered her players together on the strength of theatrical ability, but to offer a refuge of sorts for those who have nowhere else to go. By choice or circumstance, they have formed a strange kind of family, and they seem determined to keep on going. With the show back on track and Miss Johnson refreshed from her nap, we have kept on going too. The oppressive, arid heat is beginning to give way to fresh breezes and forested slopes as we leave the desert scrub behind and cross into the mountains. Onward and upward. Abandoned church. It may be true the Vespuccians don't pay much attention to what is not directly before our noses. The more I hear about the revolution in New Spain, what our newspapers term the unrest, if they trouble to mention it at all, the more I am disquieted. Here in the forested slopes of the Upper Diablos, so far from the border, we came upon the survivors of Icotea, the site of Phil's disastrous rout. In dealing the death blow to the budding revolution, the Spanish soldiers inflicted the harshest punishment on these humble farmers. No other word for it but a massacre. Phil's expectations for a welcoming reception were soon dashed. Displeasure with the general was the universal sentiment. The refugees were far from united in all matters, however, particularly those concerning their future. Opinions roughly fell into two camps, each with their champions. Antonio, an elderly baker, represented the pacifists, fearing to invite further calamity and preferring to rebuild here in Vespuccia. He spoke for those who had not advocated rebellion or chosen to fight a war. On the militant side, the grieving matriarch Isabel urged to return to the homeland to rekindle the revolution. To her mind, Phil's sin was not inciting bloodshed, but an untimely retreat. Those two may as well have been the incarnations of the scolding angel and devil that have perched bickering and hectoring on Phil's drooping shoulders ever since that fateful day, though how to tell which was which. Worn by debate and doubt, he appealed to me for counsel. I nudged him to see Antonio's side of things and spare the refugees from further suffering. They've sacrificed enough already. Phil lit a candle of remembrance for the dead, and he spoke of the opportunities for making a new life here. I know that Phil did not like it, but I hope it brings him some peace. It's not easy to turn away from a good fight. Since we left the refugee camp, it seemed as though a little of that weight lifted from Phil's shoulders. If nothing else, perhaps that angel and devil have finally taken the hint and shoved off. Fish-filled creek. Phil, Nadine and I went fishing for our supper tonight, lured by visions of lake shores thick with fat, leaping salmon. Phil seemed accustomed to this form of sport and held forth on proper technique. I doubt I'll be winning any prizes for angling prowess, but there are worse ways to obtain a meal. It should come as no surprise that salmon are accounted a popular meal in these parts. Our haul was big enough to attract the attention of a big old hungry bear who got us cornered. We had to sacrifice some of our catch to make our escape, but I will take my life over some dead fish any day. And after that, supper was delicious. Oof, there's some more of this. Let's do this one. The Traveller's Shrine to St. Christopher. It came as news to me, but apparently there is someone who cares for and looks after travellers. A nice thought. Whether that someone is the blessed St. Christopher himself or a fellow traveller with the consideration and foresight to mark a resting place or leave a little refreshment for the next weary soul who lurches along, I would not venture to say. There's also at least one someone who doesn't give a damn about anybody and happening upon a tidy little traveller's shrine on the road, delights in despoiling it and scattering its appointments to the four winds. So on the whole, my faith in humanity has not been drastically elevated. Miss Johnson certainly seemed bothered by it. She acts as though she has no use for people, but I suppose living alone on the road as she does, much of her contact with others must come mediated and delayed like this, conveyed through little environmental traces and marks of passage, messages left behind, items deposited, collected, evidence of care or of its lack. Signs of human activity that she reads and interprets like the tracks of an animal. Someone friendly came this way, or dangerous beasts, steer clear. Putting the shrine back in order made her feel better, I think. It did me. We left indirectly, a message of our own. Someone was here who gives a damn. Pass it on. Tell you what, let's just read the Naked Modelling Day. A mountain lake with a view. Today I met a most curious fellow. Though he stood on the shore of a glittering freshwater lake among the snow-capped peaks of Sierra del Diablo, far from being dressed for a mountain expedition, he looked as though he just stepped out of a tailor shop on Northgate Avenue, maybe for an afternoon stroll and a quick lunch at Devereux's before returning to his bank office to tally up the day's receipts. As it transpires, Mr. Treadway was no banker and certainly no outdoorsman, but a photographer, an inventor of a novel kind of camera he calls the rapidograph. He's no copywriter either, which he claims is capable of making images instantly and even of converting still pictures to moving ones. Astonishing. I would condemn him for a charlatan had I not been treated to a demonstration of the process in action. The women and beasts he has captured in his sample book look lifelike enough to jump from the page. As Mr. Treadway was lamenting the lack of male models willing to pose for his studies, I saw the opportunity to earn a bit of ballast and recruited Jake and Phil to his aid. The cause of science was much advanced today, I'm sure. I'm somewhat tempted to get all the... No, there's quite a bit in New Bethel, so let's do that next time. So I'll just close off properly and say thanks to all those who've made it this far in the video. Again, if you have enjoyed it, as I hope you have, if you could hit that like button, that'd be fantastic. Please do leave a comment as well. It's always great to see the discussion in the comments below the videos. I know a lot of people have been enjoying this series, which is awesome. And, if you're watching this and not yet subscribed to the channel, if you could do that, that'd be amazing. So thanks very much, and I hope to see you next time. Bye for now.